Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Sergio Dominguez with the season 26 commentary of the Sergio Show. Alright, so back in April of 2021, I finished season 25 of the Sergio Show. After I did that, I took a break from the show to work on Juan Perez 2 and a couple other projects. And at some point, I wanted to start production soon, but I was behind on a couple of things, so I had to catch up. But I started production in June, but I only made one episode in June. Then I made another episode really in July, so it's like 1 month per episode. But in August, I made 8 episodes in 1 month to catch up because that was what was just going on with Juan Perez and a couple other projects within the summer. I just that's how the whole season was put together. And I was worried that the episodes were not going to be as good as I thought. But after finishing and rewatching them, I realized they're surprisingly good. Season 26 came out surprisingly good in my opinion, in terms of how it was all executed and the pacing and the concept of execution. It's surprisingly funny, the way I just put them all together. And yeah, I was surprised because when I started season 26, there were a lot of episodes that I did not want to make, and I ended up changing it until I started production. For example, this episode is the reboot episode. Originally, it was going to be the fastest episode ever, and it was going to be what it is. Like, I was going to do the Sergio Show in, like, I don't know, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. But I didn't like the idea, so I changed it to a sequel to the reboot because that's when I realized, okay, like after 150, I did a reboot episode. So now after 250, I'll do a reboot episode. And you know, surprise, surprise, we're still doing reboots these days. So that's how this episode came to be, where I wanted to redo the design again, but have it much more uncomfortable looking, because that seems to be also the satirical take of cartoons. The freakier looks, but I like it. I like how weird it looks. Oh, and this one's just a business meeting, trying to really bring home the satire. It's for business. And also, the businessman that you're seeing, he is based on a character from season 2. The stop motion special. Not even season 1. I just realized it's not season 1. It's later in the season. The second stop motion special of the Sergio Show. The Businessman. It's part of the Censored 100, so a lot of you don't know. Some of the fans do know about The Businessman. But, yeah, that character's long gone. But I miss the businessman, and I made the voice doing that. So I brought him back. I literally rebooted him, where he was an action figure in that old original episode. But now he is just this weird-looking design that I really like. And I get to use the voice again. Nah. So I do like this episode a lot, and I love performing, and I love how weird and off kilter the whole season is. But yeah, there were a lot of episodes that didn't really come to be. A lot of reject. I'm looking at my list. It is just a lot of ideas that I end up just putting behind, but until I got to it. But that was also the plan, because I did just fill in ideas for seasons, and then when I get to it, that's when it was going to change. So that was like my plan. So of course, these episodes are just placeholder until I actually got to it, which makes me comfortable, and it works really well. Some ideas maybe I'll get to, but when I got to some of these ideas, I was like, no. So yeah, this is a nutty season, but I really like how it came out. I'm surprised. Surprised how it came out. It came out really short, a lot of short episodes, but it's still well executed, and I think I might get to longer episodes in the future. But yeah, that's also been the big challenge with season 26, because I had such a small amount of time. I was working other things. I was like, this season has to go by quick, and I don't want to make these episodes too long, and also I don't want them to be long to make. So there were a lot of shortcuts with this season, with episode lengths, and one sheet I have to do was also mouth animation. You know, because if you know anything about how I make these cartoons, I would have Toon Boom automatically set the mouth animation, but then I would go through and pick which frames are the right poses for me, and also add in 3 mouth poses of the t, l, and v sounds. And yeah, that's how I was trying to reduce that and only have a couple episodes do that. Have episodes where the characters don't need to be properly lip synced, like the reboot episode. Have silent episodes, and have to cut back on the mouth animation quality a little bit. So this was a challenge. Like this episode you're seeing is me taking care of my new child, which is a continuity to the Sergio Studios cinematic universe that I'm doing, because I just did Juan Perez 2, and I think it was Juan's idea where I have a love child. I don't want to spoil too much, but I was like, okay, if I do that, maybe that can be an episode where I take care of it, and that's what we are with this episode. If you watch Juan Perez 2 and the end credits, you understand what's going on here. So, it was a simple episode too, but I still like how it came out. And this was the last episode produced, because I didn't do it in numerical order. I just did which ones I was most comfortable with. And this was the season finale, not season finale, but the last episode I made during production, even though it's the second episode of the series. But, yeah. I was like, okay. Because originally this was going to be a business episode, and I didn't know what that meant. I just had ideas and words, so I just put in, at the time, business, and when I got to it, I'll get to it. And then I came up with this idea for the episode and just replaced it with that. And just fun, quick, simple, small montage. This is kind of off-kilter episode, but the whole season is, and it's fun, it's needed. I don't think I implied that this was a sunset enough. This will be a sunset. But it's okay. It still came off really, really well, and I like it. This is a good advantage for me to use like side puppet Sergio that you're seeing. And yeah, I try to draw different versions of my children, but I just like the one drawing I did from Juan Perez 2 for this case. And there we go. I had this animation here had to be quick. At the time, it was the last episode of the season production wise, so I was really burnt, and I was like, I want to finish this before August ends, so I ended up doing that, and I was like, oh, let's go, and that's why it kind of feels a little bit stilted, a little bit rushed, like every episode of the show, but this one I felt tired, but no, this came out really well too. When I got to editing and I rewatched it, could have used more detail, of course. But what you see is fun, yes. The whole context of everything. Yeah, this was a nice episode. Pretty nice, necessary episode. And I know I have a grand plan for all this, if I can get to it. So all these episodes in this era is building up to something, but I don't want to say much. As of this recording, I still have a lot to go. This is a fun one. And I was like, oh my god, it's happening. It's finishing. Very, very fun yet nutty season. Yeah, business. So, yeah, that's what happens. I have a lot of placeholder ideas, but when I get to it, I'm like, oh, that's going to be an episode. Sometimes you don't know what you expect from a production, even for a show like mine. Wonderful. Nice episode. The next one's fun. The next one coming up is pretty fun. There were jokes in this episode that I had to cut because they weren't funny enough and maybe inappropriate. I apologize. But I'm glad I got to it. Okay, this episode... This one, okay, yeah, Robot Sergio. This season was going to have 2 Robot Sergio episodes for a reason. I don't want to say what. But when I got to this part of the season where I got to do 2 Robot Sergio episodes, I was like, okay, I know one of the 2, but what's the first one going to be? And I thought, what if he makes a cartoon? I'm like, good deal, done. And how do I do it? And I thought, let me look at my schedule. I can make this a silent one. Have him speak one line and that's it, and everything be silent. The advantage I realized, I think I mentioned this before in other commentaries, the advantage of doing the show dialogue free is that I don't have to spend time recording or editing audio and cutting audio and then taking it to Toon Boom. Because that's pretty tedious time-wise, even though I can do it in a couple of hours. But it speeds up time if I just go straight to animation and know what I'm doing. like this. I was like, okay, yeah, I won't have the character speak, but he got to do this visually, and that's fine. So I did write an outline of what he has to do and the certain steps in production, and I don't know why that looks like that, but it's funny. The hand is on the other side for some reason. That's an exaggerated, how we make animations, and we just recline back. It's funny, he's having fun, but now he's just literally burnt out. But yeah, so this one I want it to be silent, and there's a couple of silent episodes. I was worried that this season was going to have too many silent episodes. But I realized it's only 5, and that's fine. Have 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 episodes be silent. It is really good. It's easier production-wise, so I don't have to spend so much time recording and, again, audio editing and cutting and bringing it to Toon Boom. So that's fine. It's a visual medium, and I can try to see if I can tell this story visually. But I have, and it's fun. It's pretty nice. That hand-drawn animation part just like drew and set it to a cycle. But, yeah. And because it's like a cartoon, I'd use that pixelation effect. That's really nice. All in one go digitally really quick. Not bad.
It was passable at best. Well, everybody, that's all for this episode.
So this was like, okay, let's go. Let's do this.
Thank you very much for watching. I am Sergio Dominguez.
Yeah, because the one coming up was more, the other Robot Sergio was more of a pivotal episode. But I wanted to do 2, because I want to bring these characters back more than one episode. So let's just have a nice simpler one for Robot Sergio while we get to the more serious one, which will be coming up in this season. But fun episode to work on. And also, I hate to also admit this. You already noticed this, but again, to cut back and just speed up production, I did have to reuse animation. Because I do save some of these animation segments and gags into the library, but I wanted to still execute it properly, so I would have to still retime it, give the punchline and results of certain reused animation and more purpose, Obviously, there's reused assets, but I didn't want it to be literally reused, so like I said, retime it, give it a different purpose while it's there, and try to execute it as differently as possible, just to speed up production a little bit more. But every so often, I do want to draw things from scratch and hand draw whenever I can. But this season was tough because there was crunch time with this. But it still came out really good. So this is Evil Sergio episode. Again, this is part of the grand plan, and he was going to have 2 scheduled this season. And I know the story, so this is part of the story. He has his powers. He knows what he's doing. He's just now in his next step, which is trying to find pieces of this device. He finds the pieces of the device, and there's a guard. Why is there a guard? I don't know. Or do I know? I think Evil Sergio knows from that book, and from an earlier story arc anthology season. And originally there was going to be dialogue, like the guard was going to give out some exposition. I checked my outlines, and I'm like, no, let him be a big dummy and just guard this thing. I like the design of the beast, of this beast guard. There was going to be a little bit more to it. Like I said, exposition. But I'm like, no, let's just have this character like be a little bit more dangerous, show off his powers, and know that he means business. And show a little bit of hints of what's coming up in his little story arc. But I like this. I want it to be kind of violent, but not literally so gory. So that's why he just pops. And no blood, just make it nice and dry. Maybe something that like the electrocution, and he's like this out of this universe kind of creature. And little Easter eggs and hints here and there. But Evil Sergio knows what he's doing. He has a plan. He's gonna follow through. Oh my gooseness. I wonder what's next. Oh, will you know? Man, again, like that's reused animation from, earlier in the previous season, but it's still executed differently and still part of this big plan. And timed differently, and it changed a couple of layers. So So you know what I'm talking about with the reused animation thing. But we'll see more of you, Evil Sergio, later this season. Originally, this episode was going to be a fantasy season. As for what, I don't know. I don't know what I mean by fantasy, but I just filled it in, and maybe when I got to it, I would know. And I didn't. So that's what I was, again, one of those episodes. Yeah, every episode in this season was changed, actually. I checked my list. Yep, every original idea was never made it. This episode, oh, I love this. I think this was the first episode I did for this season, production-wise. And, yeah, I wanted to make more Sergio Studios extra videos, and I realized I never made a production vlog of an episode of the show. It was inevitable. And I was like, let me do one for one episode, and let me do one that I want to make, and not have it be really tough to make so I don't struggle and take long production-wise. And I got to this episode. And if you see my production vlog, you know what I'm talking about. Every step of the way. So you probably know every detail, but I can still tell you. So yeah, this is the first episode that I did production and production vlog. It was fun. It was fun doing these kind of thing and giving vlogging a try, production vlogging a try. It was fun to know step by step. You get to know in real time how I was making this episode in front of my eyes. And it was fun. It was fun doing this. I'll try to see if I can do more in the future. But originally this episode was going to be Superhero Sergio. But no. I'm just going to leave it at that. Nice idea, but no. But I like this one because I mentioned this before. I've been buying a lot of camera accessories and I've been losing my mind over it. And I really have a good time buying all these camera accessories and rigs. And I wanted to be the show. That's just like editing. The editing tricks, I also, to like speed up some things, I would do some editing tricks. If the timing isn't working, I can just edit it, the speed a little bit. And that's what I like that. I'm looking down, but this thing is huge. That's gosh darn it, that's so creative. And very personal since I love camera accessories with my cameras. And filmmaking, all that beautiful stuff. That's how I was just feeling. One of the few lines. If you've seen the vlog, it's funny. My experience. This one's one of my favorite episodes in the season. And I'm glad I can share a little bit more in depth with the vlogs. It's fun. Very well done. And this one took long only because of the vlog. If I didn't have the vlog, it would have been done faster. And at the time, it was the first episode of that season, production-wise. So I was like, oh, I hope none of the other episodes this season will take long. Just the following episode, but the rest of the season was like that. And it had to be like that because the first two episodes, I was like 20% of the season. It was like, oh, taking too long. Got other episodes to work on and a couple other projects to work on. So if it came out too short or maybe too rushed for you, I'm sorry. But to me, it was fun. It was fun, and I still think it came out, all of it, really good. Yeah. Very nice episode. Very, very good. Okay. This episode, this was going to be a multi-part episode for this season where I make a work of art, but I don't know, honestly. I think I have bigger plans for that, but I'm also just not fully realizing it. But then, so for this episode, I was realizing, okay, I'm building up a lot of things, trying to give a lot more context and world building to the show. I realized, Sergio the Hippo has this area, but does live action, well, not live action, but I mean, regular Sergio show Sergio know about this? Does he have this? Then I kind of realized he should, because I've done time travel and transporting to other dimensions, but where do I get it all? I don't build it. I think maybe in the first season I said it, I don't remember. So I wanted to make an episode where I just world build a little bit and give another location in Toon City where he had all this stuff. And that's where this episode came about. I'm like, this is going to be just a fun world building episode that will also give out hints of what could happen in the future. but hopefully. No, I have a plan, but it's still going as it went along, too. But that's interesting. But I improvised this episode, and again, I think I did have to cut back on the lip sync. That's why if the lip sync is a little bit off, it's meh. There's some callbacks. It's a nice chance to do callbacks, obviously, because even though this is a show of whatever I want, and I'm a cartoonist and animator filmmaker, and so is the cartoon version of me, I do like to go on these kinds of adventures that are not possible in the real world. So I'm glad there's a certain place where I got all that. Not fully realized, because where's the register? Where's the checkout thing? But I could keep building this world if I can, and I probably will. Hopefully. There's some nice posing, even though I was like, because there's also another way to cut back is I do cut to shots and linger on certain items and do a camera pan, because there are just times where I just don't want to animate the character, or he's not really needed to be animated. If there's a shot where I'm pointing out something that the character's going to be off camera, but the item or thing or place needs to be on camera. So that's one of the production sheets and animation sheets. So I don't spend so much time animating this character completely or thoroughly because it's not needed. So yeah. So this was also a fun episode. I drew a couple of things, but not much. This was like reused from the Sergio the Hippo episode where he went to that place, and changed only a couple of things, and had fun with editing because of that effect with the remote. That one was fun. So yeah, this was a good one. Honestly, this is like a calm one, but there's a lot of good jokes in here, and a lot more hints of what's coming up. Yeah. Very nice. Fun episode. Did I mention the episode was fun? This was all fun season. Okay, next episode. This episode was also originally a two-parter. No, wait. This is a three-parter for me trying to make a work of art, but no, I have bigger plans for that kind of. So yeah, Robot Sergio's back. Instead, I did that, replaced that with Robot Sergio, the second part, and this one was going to be world building to a bigger thing. So again, I'm trying to build up how the Sergios have portals. These are special portals, and I thought I'll let him have a headache. That's also a tracking device since he's part robot. He's all robot. That will lead him to it because I want him to find the portal, but how? And it's like, yeah, a tracking device in his head. That's also a headache. But when I got to it, I'm like, okay, he's going to have to see a doctor. And I do like, Dr. Swirly Chin. So I had to quickly make a robot Dr. Swirly Chin. I didn't want to cover his whole body with like gradient grays. So I only did the arms, and the whole body was like a chrome filter. So that's why his torso, well, his body that isn't the arms, like chrome, a chrome image. You know, that had to be a quick job to do. This was one of the episodes that had a time crunch to them. So I was like, when I do Robot Dr. Swirly Chin, just make it simple, make it quick. Yeah. So that was going on. There were more jokes too, but the jokes weren't landing. They weren't necessary. So this episode came off a little short, but I don't care. Still came off fun. I also reused the animation here, but I needed to I don't know if I didn't retime it. I just replaced it with that version of Sergio. Call back to his first appearance. So that's what that was. Yeah, that one I also had to take that science room and just chrome filter in Photoshop. But that works. Yeah. It's like I was like, should I gradient chrome or something with the portal? I'm like, no, let it be yellow because it's that color of yellow is like every version except for live action Sergio, but that was my personal thing with the green screen. I couldn't build a proper one. Didn't want to. So, well, that's what we have here. But I improvised this episode. It was kind of fun and easy. And since this is also a case where Robot Sergio's mouth is just lights, it doesn't have to be proper. I don't have to be like, which light mouth is. No. I just like, go, let it rip. Let it rip, Toon Boom. That was a chair if you heard any noise. And yeah, this came out really well, too. And it was building to something possibly even bigger. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can pull this off. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. That's nice. It's nice. I wonder what Sergio Studios this is. I screwed up the joke. I was being like, I wonder what studio this is. Sergio Studios, of course. I do like these intros. I don't know if anybody out there in the comment section let me know if you missed the it's the Sergio Show. Kind of miss it, but I do like the way I make these intros, and I just make a slightly newer one every season. So this episode, originally this episode was a part 3 of me making artwork, but I was like, again, had bigger kind of ish plans. And also, I needed to continue with Evil Sergio's story, so I just moved that idea to that part. I don't know why it came out, like the frame rate came out that stiff and static. I don't know. I don't think I retimed it. Yeah, I don't think I retimed it. Maybe the way I exported it, or I don't think I don't know what happened with those shots. But yeah, this is Evil Sergio just trying to build this special thing that will continue the story. Yeah, the special thing that was going to continue the story. And he screwed up badly. I think there was going to be more to it, like him struggling a little bit more and him trying to figure it out. But no, I just made it quick, make it streamlined, and that shot is a callback or a reference to the previous Evil Sergio episode because I wanted to be a little bit more evil, and what he did was pretty sick, which true to the character in this case. He's just trying to get slightly more evil. He's being more murderous. He has this plan coming up. So yeah, again, he reused animation, but I timed the face and executed a little bit differently. So this is going great. Yeah, I just took these random pieces I drew and just painted them digitally and just set up like that. But something's going on. Oh, power. Originally, this was going to end with this thing actually working and you seeing the next step of the plan. But while I was animating it and seeing it struggle and reaching its time limit, I was like, no, you know what? I'm starting to get burnt. Let it just... That's a reused thing, but I cut it quick. I decided to just end the episode him almost having it work. Because, if you're following the story, you know what's going to happen, that it was going to work and it's going to be a bigger plan. Plus, I wanted to be mysterious, too. It's like, did it work? Did it not work? What's going on here? Is it working? Oh, no, it's kind of working. What's going to... Oh! So, to keep the story going. So, I thought it would be better that way, instead of him officially working it and him being like, okay, next step to the plan. But I'm liking that Evil Sergio's story arc. It's coming up. It's coming up roses for him. Evil creature eating roses. Okay. What's going on next? What studio is this? No. Okay. Alright. Okay. So this episode, originally it was going to be a nature episode. I don't know what it's going to be. Like, I don't know. I was going to go through nature and see different cartoon animals. I don't know. But I realized, okay, I want to do another episode of my dog. because I realized I haven't done an episode of my dog son Chunky and or Frankie. You know, his name is Frankie in the show, but I changed it to Chunkies, to the Chunks. You know, because it was a cuter name. My sister came up with that name, so it's canon now. His name is Chunky, even though that's his nickname. So for this episode, I was like, okay, I'll do another dog episode because I realized I haven't done it for the season. He has appearances throughout the season, which I'm glad. His little appearances are so cute, and you agree, of course. So let me do a Lost Dog episode because, yeah, that was one of the ideas when I got Frankie Chunky for the first time. I was like, he's going to be in the show, and I'm going to just think of a bunch of episodes. One of them would be Lost Dog. And this was going to be a silent one, too. No, originally when I did this, I recorded dialogue over a year ago, May 2020. And when I got to this episode, I went to the my files and went to the audio of me improvising the Lost Dog episode, and the audio quality was not good and the jokes were not good, and I just said to myself, you know what, there should be another silent episode. I think you can do that. I looked at my lineup. Yep, let it be a silent episode. I only re-recorded, I didn't even re-record, I just recorded like 2 little lines, Chunky and have a name of a day, bark 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 bark, and let it all be visual, and it came out better than I thought. Too short, but it's still okay. And I love this joke. That's the best joke in that episode. Because I wanted to react happily. This is a reused shot, but I executed where I animate him moving a little bit. And it's still so cute. And, so yeah, too short of an episode, but it still came out really well. And, yeah, fun episode. Simple episode, but fun episode. But we're going to see more of this pooch next season, hopefully. Or maybe the season after that. Well, the whole series, probably. I don't know. But, yeah, this one was good. And I just made up some gags and just animated it. Very simple episode, but very cute and very, very sweet. Very sweet. Yeah, clock was winding down production-wise for this one. Okay, so this was a 3rd or 4th episode made production-wise. And I really like this episode. Originally, this was going to be the Toon City Insane Asylum. But at the time, I was like, I like Dr. Swirly Chin. And I think one of the ideas I wrote down early on was this skin tag I had when I was younger. It was so big and it was bothering me for 6 years. And then in 2010, I got it removed. And I was like, I'm going to have this be an idea for the show. Somehow, and then I thought of, oh, Dr. Swirly Chin, I like the character, I want him to come back. How do I do that? I gotta go to the doctor for some reason. Oh, what if I have a skin tag, which I did, and have it come to life and all that stuff, and I improvised the episode, and it came out really well. This episode came out really well. I love this. I think this is my 2nd favorite episode this season. It looks gross, and I like it because I had a skin tag that's not that size, but really big and annoying. And a good use for Dr. Swirly Chin in this case too, since the thing came to life. And I like the gag with my dog son. So this was a very, very good episode. Very good. Yeah. I'm very excited for this one.
So I decided to go ahead and get it checked out.
And this is also a good chance to use the side Sergio in this case. Dr. Swirly Chin. I hope you guys like him. You know, and I like his presence in the show. He appeared technically in 2 episodes this season. Oh, I do like the performance. He's based on a couple other cartoon characters I like, but I execute him with a different skin color and set and stuff. But, oh man. Yeah, he's a great character. I really enjoy him. I really hope you enjoy Dr. Swirly Chin. Hopefully he'll appear in the show more. I don't know. We'll see. Me and my chin are ready to operate. The skin tag. I like the voice for the skin tag too. Again, I didn't give him a mouth. He didn't need a mouth, and it's funny how he's talking. Again, one of the cutbacks of lip sync animation, but this one I think lip animate a little bit more. And I thought of a very funny gag that you're gonna see coming up. But yeah, very fun episode, this one. This one was fun to make. Came out really well. Like the whole season came out really well. Short, but sweet and to the point. I hope you guys like it too.
Many of your brothers and sisters and cousins and distant relatives.
Dr. Swirly Chin.
Chin.
God, this was a fun season to just look at. It was tough to make ish because I had to make it so quick, but it came out so well. Oh, here it comes. Oh. It. I could have done it a lot quicker, but yeah, it's fun. Yeah, that one took only one take, and I just quickly dressed up a glove and sleeve, and that was it.
Oh, I feel free.
Very good episode. Very good.
Well, Sergio, your skin tag removal procedure was a success. I even have the little guy in a jar.
Oh, he's in a little jar, just like my old skin tag. Well, there was a skin tag reference early on in the series, if you remember, or if I ever executed. But yeah, you know, skin tags are no fun.
Oh, good thing I only let junk food do that. Well, in a couple of days, that scar will
Such a good episode.
just fine.
Such a good episode.
Skin do often
It's one of those personal ideas that just came about.
That's all for this kind of gross episode of
Yeah.
the Sergio Show. I hope
Again, I had to cut back animation by having just shots of zooming in and not having the character talk and move much.
Sergio Dominguez
But this still came out really well. The whole season came out surprisingly well at the end. And there you go. This was season 26. Again, short, sweet, to the point, and a lot of fun. And I hope you had a lot of fun watching this season and listening to this commentary of The Sergio Show. Again, thank you very much for watching and listening. More coming up, hopefully. Again, thank you. I am Sergio Dominguez saying, have an animated day.